In this video, we're going to add some final touches to our voiceover track, bring up the volume so it's at a comparable level for everything on streaming and YouTube and broadcast. And then in the last and final video, we're going to actually compare our fully mixed voiceover track against our unmixed version and also against a mixed version of the voiceover, but without any of the denoising, deplosive, or declicking. Should be pretty interesting. At this point, there's really not a whole lot more you need to do to a voiceover track. If you've done your due diligence in terms of picking out the microphone, the space, the performer, optimizing the performer in relation to the microphone itself, so you can either emphasize that low end or de-emphasize if you don't want to introduce plosives, trying to deal with background noise using third-party plugins, or just adjusting the space that you're working in. At this point, you really just need a touch of EQ to balance things out, a touch of compression just to rein in the dynamics a hair, and a de-esser for taming those S sounds. I mean, really, you could just bring up the volume and call it a day. Some folks like to go the extra mile and add a touch of automation to their voiceover tracks. Automation is where you're able to program something like the fader to adjust in real time. So if a word or phrase ends up being a little louder than you like it to be, well, you could tuck it down using automation. Let me just demonstrate. In Logic, if I use key command A to introduce automation, or click on this button right here, we can actually choose our volume or our fader for writing automation. Now check it out. Let's take a listen to the voiceover track.
Logic Pro is a powerful, full-featured music app with all the tools you need to create professional quality music productions.
So on production, she gets a little quieter. So we could actually make a selection and drive this up a hair just to make it a little louder on that word.
You need to create professional quality music productions.
And you could go through adding these little touches of automation through the performance. Now, personally, I'm really lazy and I don't want to do that. So instead I use a third-party plugin from a company called Melda Audio. And this plugin is called Auto Volume. I find it to be fantastic. It basically rides the level like you were writing automation. And it tries to just further balance the level of this voiceover a touch more. It's kind of like adding another compressor, but I find it's a little more transparent. Now, you don't have to use this plugin if you don't want to. I mean, there are many other options available. Waves is a company that has the Vocal Rider plugin, which is pretty much the same thing. It also has the Playlist Rider plugin, which is more specific for things like voiceovers, podcasts, etc. But what I love about this is that it just adds a touch more stability to our voiceover track without taking it too far. Now, out of the gate, where I have it set, it's very aggressive. And I'm going to play it just so you can hear it and also see what's going on here. Check it out.
Logic Pro is a powerful, full-featured music app with all the tools you need to create professional quality music productions.
Now that's intense. And because we've brought up the volume so much, you can actually hear some of that background noise being reintroduced to the voiceover track, the stuff that we try to tuck down. But the good thing is that we don't need to be this aggressive with it. Basically, all we need to do is set the sensitivity here to where it feels best. The sensitivity is how sensitive is auto volume to the level of the voiceover. How aggressive do we want it to be in terms of adjusting the volume of the performance over time? And honestly, probably like 20 to 30 is going to be the sweet spot for this. I don't want it to be super aggressive, so let's set it to 0 and I'll bring it up.
Logic Pro is a powerful, full-featured music app with all the tools you need to create professional quality music productions. You can record, arrange, and edit audio and MIDI regions, add high-quality effects, mix your music in stereo or surround, and export the final mix in a variety of formats for distribution.
Okay, that's feeling pretty good. It's just tucking things in a little more. Again, you could use a compressor in series, so you could use a second compressor. I'm using this. Now I'm also going to adjust the look ahead. I'm going to set it to like 10%. Basically, the more look ahead time you set, the further ahead in time the plugin is looking at the incoming audio. So if this was set to 0, it's just reacting to the audio as it comes. But if I set it to 10%, this plugin is looking a little ahead into the future to prepare itself for what the level adjustments might look like in the near future. And in fact, some of the Logic plugins, such as the limiter, has a look ahead feature, which is measured in milliseconds. So it's 5 milliseconds. You can set it up to 10 or 0. Same thing with some of the other dynamic processors in Logic. And as is, let's hear it before and after.
Logic Pro is a powerful, full-featured music app with all the tools you need to create professional quality music productions. You can record, arrange, and edit audio and MIDI regions, add high-quality effects, mix your music in stereo or surround.
Just adding a touch more. Now I'm going to introduce a limiter, and this is going to be the thing that brings up the volume to where we need it to go. Again, I'm just going to pick a preset. Now the Pro L has a lot more going on than most limiters. It offers us both an independent attack and release, which a lot of limiters don't. And there's even different styles. We're not going to dig into all that. Instead, I'm just going to pick a safe preset, a podcast and broadcast voiceover. And you can see it set the look ahead time to about 2 milliseconds. Remember, the Logic limiter has its own look ahead. It set the attack to 32 milliseconds, so not super fast. The release is set a little slower, 245 milliseconds. In fact, if we open the Logic adaptive limiter, we can see we have a look ahead. We even have an optimal look ahead time. We don't have a release time, but the Logic limiter does have a release time. All this to say that you can use any limiter that best fits your workflow. I'm just using third-party plugins to make sure this is not DAW specific. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up the volume on this voiceover track. Now I've set this 1-to-1 button here. So as I drive up the volume, we're not actually going to hear a change in volume, just so we can listen to what the limiter is doing and nothing else. Check it out.
Logic Pro is a powerful, full-featured music app with all the tools you need to create professional quality music productions. You can record, arrange, and edit audio and MIDI regions, add high-quality effects, mix your music in stereo or surround, and export the final mix in a variety of formats for distribution.
So we could see some of what the limiter was tucking back. Again, we can solo that. Check it out.
Logic Pro is a powerful, full-featured music app with all the tools you need to create professional quality music productions.
That's pretty interesting, but we can see that it's a little too aggressive on the loudness meter. For most broadcast streaming, YouTube, everything that you're going to be playing your voiceovers on, there are standards in place that are recommended or that we have to follow for different applications. For things like Spotify, YouTube, it's roughly around -14. For broadcast standards like television or movies, it's going to be roughly around -23. Many DAWs come with their own loudness meter. Logic comes with its own. And right here in the Pro L, we can see where the loudness is. So I'm going to reduce the gain in the Pro L to match that -14 for streaming. Here we go.
Logic Pro is a powerful, full-featured music app with all the tools you need to create professional quality music productions. You can record, arrange, and edit audio and MIDI regions, add high-quality effects, mix your music in stereo or surround, and export the final mix in a variety of formats for distribution.
So it's just on the loudest bits that are getting tucked back. And now I can turn off this auto gain function, which is the 1-to-1 button. This is actually going to boost the volume of this voiceover by 17 decibels, which is a lot, but we're right in that window of -14 in the loudness meter territory. I'm going to set my output volume to a -1, which is a safe place to set your final loudness for your voiceover tracks, for your mixes, anything else. And now we're going to play this back. Take a listen.
Logic Pro is a powerful, full-featured music app with all the tools you need to create professional quality music productions. You can record, arrange, and edit audio and MIDI regions, add high-quality...
The only thing I'm noticing is that there's like something going on here. Like sounds like she's bumping into something or it's a keyboard. Okay.
Productions.
So right there. So let's get rid of it. Let's set this to, once again, shuffle to the left. Okay, let's set a fade. And let's check this out.
You can record quality music productions. You can record, arrange, and edit audio and MIDI regions, add high-quality effects, mix your music in stereo or surround, and export the final mix in a variety of formats for distribution.
Beautiful. Our voiceover feels like it's in a great place. It cuts through. It doesn't sound too brittle. It doesn't sound too low-end heavy. It doesn't sound squashed because of the compression or anything else. We've tucked back those S sounds, and we brought up the volume on our voiceover track to a healthy level, roughly -14, which works great for my applications. In the next video, we're going to compare the before and after of the various steps so you can hear how far we've come in terms of processing our voiceover track. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you for more in the final video.